It's a rainy day, and I've had this recipe on my mind for the last couple of years. So I thought I'd take this time today for you and I to try out a new recipe, a pumpkin spice dog treat recipe. It is the season of pumpkin after all. Hi, I'm Paula with Canine Country Academy. We create videos to give you the tools and the skills to have a well-mannered dog, all while building the relationship you both deserve. If you're new to making your own homemade dog training treats, I'm gonna let you in on my secret. I use a couple of things over and over and over again that are the same foundational things, and then I just add other stuff in to make things new and different. Now we're gonna do this together, so we'll see how it goes. But all you need is 1.5 to 2 cups of flour of your choice. I prefer rice flour, and an egg or 2. And if you don't want to use eggs, don't have eggs, or your dog is allergic to eggs, you can use applesauce, plain applesauce, in replacement of the eggs. In addition to flour and egg, you're also going to need some sort of silicone mat if you do it the way I like to do it. You don't need one of these. You could just use a pan or whatever you have around to make your treats. But I like this silicone mat that has dots. I also have one that has pyramids and hearts, but this one's nice for training treats. And I also thought it would be good for the consistency that we're gonna be working with these pumpkin spice treats. For this recipe, I'm going to start with 1.5 cups of rice flour, 1.5 cups of pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie filling, but just plain pumpkin. If your store is out of pumpkin, for some reason you or your dog can't have pumpkin, then you can use sweet potatoes that are cooked up and use the same amount in replacement. I'm also going to use 1 egg, and I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. You want to be careful with cinnamon because it's not something you want your dogs to have a lot of. I just want that little bit of spice in this recipe. I will also use water if necessary in order to thin out my batter. You want your batter to be somewhat like a pancake batter, so it's easy to smear inside the molds. You can see here how it's pretty dry still. I've added a little bit of water and all of the ingredients. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water until I get that pancake batter consistency. I'm liking this consistency, so I'm ready to spread it out in our mold. What you're gonna do is just plop a bunch on the mold, and then you're just gonna start spreading it out. A nice spatula is really helpful for this. You want to have a very clean mold when you are done and ready to put it in the oven, which you've set to 350 degrees. And we'll bake these for about 12 minutes and then take a peek. If you want them more crunchy, you're gonna cook them longer, obviously. And then if you want them a little soft, then you're gonna keep a really close eye on them and not overcook them. So anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes at 350 should be good to go. But this is a new recipe, so we are gonna see how long it takes us. You can see here how I'm kind of cleaning off the batter, and then I'm gonna add it back. This can get a little messy, but it's pretty quick if you work with a lot of batter, almost like you're doing some tile work here. Not that I know anything about that. And then I'm gonna scoop up some more batter and just keep going until every single dot is full. Now that we have every single dot filled and we've done a little cleanup work, we are gonna pop this in the oven for about 12 minutes, and then we'll peek in to see how they're doing and decide what level of doneness we want. Do we want them a little soft or do we want them a little crunchy? The timer went off, and Ahsoka and her brothers are ready to see if the treats are done. Obviously be careful because it's gonna be screaming hot, but what you're looking for is doneness. So if they just pop out, they're good to go. These might be a little more done than I normally make them, but it may be because of the ingredients are different than I would normally use, just using mostly pumpkin. But these are perfection. They're gonna be a little bit soft, but a little bit crunchy, so in between. And I'm gonna let this cool for about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna show you how they should fall out of the mold, and then we'll do this process all over again. The timer's gone off, and it's time to have our first batch put into our airtight container. Because these treats are not including any kind of preservative, you are gonna need to keep these in an airtight container in your refrigerator. And then what I like to do is I will put them in smaller little zip bags and freeze anything I think I'm not gonna use that week. These are good for about a week in the refrigerator, but definitely do not leave them out because they will spoil quickly. Now that they have cooled, you should be able to just dump them in. Turn this so you can see. Into, oop, got some runaways. I've got some volunteers over here, little feet. So they should just dump in. Sometimes they get a little sticky, so you can just punch them out. Each mold is different, each recipe is different, where you're located can vary as well. But you're essentially just gonna dump these out into the container and then use them. You can store them, give them away. They're really nice to have on hand to use for your training. And there's so many different things you can do with them in terms of adding different proteins, or maybe there's other fruits and veggies you want included. Whatever your dog likes, you can get creative with this. This is just one of many ideas and recipes that you can utilize for your dog, and that makes their treats not only fun and tasty, but actually healthy. You can control the ingredients, especially if you have a dog who is sensitive to certain ingredients. You could even use their canned food and just bake it, and then that turns into healthy treats for them because it's what they're allowed to have. All right, we're gonna do a little taste test here. Norby, good, Ahsoka, and Panzer. That looks like approved. But these guys will eat just about anything. This mold alone makes 468 treats, almost 500 treats for one mold. Now, I have a ton more of ingredients here that I can make more. So all I'm gonna do is do the process over again. I'm gonna smear it, bake it, and then pop it out so my dogs can enjoy these pumpkin spice dog training treats.